Nice to have your company. Let's bring in our panel, 2CC Radio host Stephen Cenatiempo and Sky News contributor Tim Blair. Now, gentlemen, welcome to the program. Nice to have you with us tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kel.
The news that's come out with the release of these new Howard cabinet documents, which are released after the 20-year period, which they have to be held for by the National Archives. The Howard government expanded Australia's terrorism laws amid fears of homegrown Islamic terrorism and warnings about Hizb ut-Tahrir that concerns that radical groups are exploiting gaps in the legal definition of terrorism. Now, Stephen, given that Hizb ut-Tahrir was identified as a concern in 2005 and who are still around and were part of that campus encampment at Sydney University, we've had 20 years when governments of all political colours have simply failed to close the legal loopholes. What's going on here?
Political expediency, Kel. It's as simple as that. We've got politicians that aren't leaders, they're followers, and unfortunately they're more interested in winning votes in certain parts of Western Sydney than they are in protecting our nation. I mean, the federal government only exists, really. If you think about why federation was brought about in the first place, it was to protect the nation on a national level. And our politicians for the last 20 years have failed to do that in this regard. I mean, Hizb ut-Tahrir is an organisation that is prohibited in so many countries around the world, including Islamic nations. I mean, it's even Muslim nations know how bad this mob is because their stated aim is that they want an international Islamic caliphate. Their view is they want to take over the entire world with an Islamic caliphate, and for some reason our politicians are more interested in a few votes in Western Sydney than they are in protecting the whole nation.
Now, Tim, we've pick up on that theme that Stephen talked about, votes in Western Sydney. We have a government apparently prioritising community sensitivities and, dare I say, such as the community in Tony Burke's electorate, over decisive national security measures. Is that what we're seeing, Tim?
It's not only what we're seeing now and what we plainly have been seeing for the last 20 years. I'll give you just maybe we should make a small bet on the panel today that in 20 years from now, we'll be hearing the same sort of thing. We'll be hearing, no, seriously, we'll be hearing exactly the same. Oh, there's a bit of a worry out there in Western Sydney. Oh, look out. Because it's not just the Hizbies who are bad enough. People forget that at the peak of the ISIS atrocities, that per capita, Western Sydney was donating more soldiers, I guess you'd call them, to that cause than just about any place on earth. And that was the most obvious example I can think of off the top of my head of just how deep and how perverse and how destructive things were allowed to get, and we're still largely in that situation.
Stephen, surely we must leave that behind now that there has been this atrocity at Bondi. Surely that must put pressure on the government to do something.
Well, look, I said this on my program the day after Bondi, that this has to be the line in the sand. It has to be the turning point. Unfortunately, we seem to have a government that is still dilly-dallying and putting those votes ahead of national security. I mean, look at the situation with the Royal Commission. Now, Dennis Richardson, you won't find a person with more integrity than Dennis Richardson, but the scope of what he is allowed to look at is what the problem is here. A Royal Commission is going to look at the failures of this government, and that's why our government doesn't want to go anywhere near a Royal Commission.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the reality is that Bondi is not going to change anything.
Well, that's a fairly bleak view. Let's hope you're not right. The same cabinet papers have laid bare how the Howard government's rather ill-fated WorkChoices policy was developed and how it led to the government coming unstuck. Tim, it became a bit of a dumpster fire. Was the problem the policy or was it the communication?
Look, I'm alert to all the issues over work choices and so on. I think a lot is made of work choices because it ticks so many lefty boxes. It was against the workers and they could make a bit of a celebration out of it. I'm still more of the mind that the Howard government lost because the Howard government had been in charge, had been around for a long, long time. And when a population votes for Kevin Rudd, it's not just one policy. They've sort of run out of patience, that the it's time factor is real. And I think also there was probably the world's greatest record of buyer's regret may have followed Kevin Rudd's election, especially from within his own cabinet. But when a party has gone for 3 elections, and when the last of those multiple elections was such a colossal victory, it's kind of like a breaking wave. And I think maybe WorkChoices was a part of that for sure. but not the overwhelming part.
Now, you two gentlemen don't live in Sydney, so you don't have the experience of every second time you drive down the road, the little machine goes beep, 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 because we're told all over the place. Now, the Minns government has got a cap. They ran a trial on a $60 cap on tolls for certain people in certain suburbs. And what you need to do is you can then reclaim the money that you've overpaid over that toll. But people are not doing it. Thousands of people are not doing it. There's $188 million in toll relief unclaimed. So what's actually going on here, Stephen? I mean, is it the case that there's this large portion of money unclaimed? Is it just wasting money? Is it setting up a bureaucracy? Is it giving drivers 3 more forms in duplicate to fill in?
Look, the claiming process isn't that difficult. I mean, I've done it myself because I spent most of my life in Sydney and I do go there regularly. But I think the problem is that people are just too lazy to go and do it. I mean, all you got to do is go onto your toll provider's website and fill in a couple of dates and they basically refund you the money. I think the issue here is that the way these toll roads have been set up, the government has no choice but to do some sort of claim back process here because they don't own these roads. I mean, it's ridiculous that we have roads in this country that aren't owned by our very own people. They're owned by private companies. So the government's a little bit hamstrung as to how they're actually going to give the money back. And I just, I would encourage it. It's a little bit like making sure your super's all in the one account. It's pretty easy to do. You've just got to go and do it.
Yep. A quick final question to both of you, Stephen and Tim. Are you New Year's resolution peoples? Here we are, first day of the new year. Tim, do you ever make New Year resolutions and do you ever keep them?
I made a big one a few years ago. I quit smoking and drinking on the same day after New Year's, and I did it by the simple method of having a massive heart attack. I don't recommend it for other people. Worked for me, haven't smoked or had a drink since. So,
a heart attack is nature's way attack is nature's way to tell you to stop smoking and drinking, isn't it?
Yes. Absolutely.
Stephen.
Look, I don't usually make resolutions, but I lost a significant amount of weight this year. I'm just hoping to continue that on. I've got about another 40 kilos I need to go. So,
look, the regular viewers of Sky News think you're doing brilliantly. Keep it up. Stephen and Tim, thank you very much for your time.